Today I'm going to share 10 tips that I wish I knew getting into Genshin Impact, and some of the things to avoid if it's your first time playing this. This could also be helpful for veterans that may not know these things, so I hope it helps. Let's start off with the most obvious ones, and first one is doing your daily commissions. I can't stress how important this is, because every single time you finish all of these, you get a total of 60 Primo Gems out of it. And of course, Primo Gems is used for wishing and all that stuff. And you'll get plenty of other Primo Gems while you're opening up chests and doing quests and things like that. But doing your daily commissions every day guarantees that 60 that you can also use for free resin. And I'll get to that in a second. Next thing is burning your resin twice a day. In a single day, you can get up to 180 resin. This means if you didn't play at all for an entire day and you had your resin at 0, you'll hit the cap of the in-game 160, but you're actually losing out on 20 extra resin in that same day if you choose not to log in twice. And this is because of the 24-hour cycle of the servers, basically. So to avoid this, you can go to the crafting table in any of the major towns and you can make condensed resin. You can make up to 5 of them. So if you ever found a day where you didn't have time to play this game, then you can just run over there, make some condensed, and then later on in the day, log back in again and either do a dungeon, kill a boss, or maybe make some more condensed if you still have room for it. Of course, the condensed resin caps at 5, so you can't go beyond that. So if you're already capped on your condensed resin, then you have no choice but to play the game. So you're gonna end up either killing a boss, killing a world boss, or burning it on some ley lines or something like that. Other forms of resin that are really important to keep in mind is there's also fragile resin, which I highly recommend holding on to these until you're either really desperate to level something up or a new banner came out with a new character that you really wanted to get as fast as possible to a playable state. Then I recommend using your fragile resin. Another way to get more resin is to pay to win. So you can go up here and you can click on the actual resin thing, and you can buy it with Primo Gems, which the first time that you go ahead and you do this, it will cost 50 Primo Gems, which is actually a nice deal because if you do your daily commissions, you're getting 60 Primo Gems with that. So if you think about it, you could do your daily commissions and then you'll get 60 Primo Gems, which you could use towards that 50 to get an extra 60 resin right there for using the exchange. And then there's 2 more times after that if you wanted to use 100 Primo Gems for more 60s. So if you were really desperate, like I've been lately trying to level up characters, then you'll go ahead and you'll just pay to win to get to that point. Eventually it'll go up to 150 and will probably go even higher than that. I don't recommend doing it anymore at that point. But if you wanted to get an extra 60 every day, I definitely recommend doing at least the 50 Primo Gems for that. Also, if you go to your teapot, you can get more resin in there. If you talk to Tubi, or Tubby, probably Tubby, you can go to the Realm Depot and you can buy Transcendent resin, which costs 1,200 of the coins. But if you're like me and you're not really designing your house or anything and you're just hoarding the coins, this will probably be a good deal once you reach that rank 6. The only downside with this is that it lasts only 7 days, so you have to be quick to use it within that week. But if you had maybe a dungeon in mind you wanted to do on a certain day, this would probably be really helpful for you. This Genshin Impact website is extremely important and will be extremely helpful for everything you could possibly want to do in this game. I'll leave a link in the description to it. That way you can bookmark this website. The best thing about it is that you can actually click on stuff and you can mark it as found so that the next time you come around this area, you'll know that you completed everything. This is really good for a new player because if you're trying to find every single chest or 100%ing areas, it makes it ridiculously easy to keep track of everything you've done without having to do this guessing game of like, what chest did I not pick up? And then what's going on? Which in the game, there's a way for you to craft the compass that would help you find like treasure chests and also find some other things. But it's only so helpful because there's a range on it. So if you're not close enough to a chest, it's not going to find it. And if there's some chests that are buried under the ground or are a part of a puzzle that it will never point to anyway. So that's why I recommend this website. That way you can keep track of everything without having to go through the weekly bounty grind to get the compass in the first place, just so you can have a chance to find all these chests, which you probably won't. So yeah, this website is really good. It also helps you find gathering materials. So let's say if I was to filter and clear out everything, I can clear all this stuff, boom, I have nothing on the map, and I was looking for a specific item or maybe like a character ascension or something. Let's say like these right here. If I needed those, I know there's only one spot in Mondstadt that would have it, and I can just go to these locations and gather them. And with these gathering materials, whether it's rocks or it's like flowers or whatever it is, they have a 48-hour respawn time. So definitely keep in mind to come back to this every 2 days to go and regather some of the stuff you may need for your character ascension and stuff like that. Another thing that's really important is hunting special monsters. And what I mean by this is that you'll have some mobs that are required for character ascension or for weapon ascension that you might not normally come across a lot. Because as you're exploring, you're going to be killing stuff and gathering their materials, right? But then there's some that are kind of hidden around that you won't really come across enough. And I'm going to go through some of them. Like for example, right now I'm starting to work on Inazuma for the first time. A really important one to get for a lot of character ascension material, especially for the newer characters like Ayato and Miko and pretty much everybody from Inazuma, you're going to need the samurais, which on this map, you can also do the same thing. So the Nobushu, you just click on that and boom, it will show you exactly where everything is. In the game, you also have an option of pressing like the escape button, opening up this pause menu, and then going to Adventurer Book. If you go in here, you can actually track certain monsters. So let's say, for example, one of the ones I've been working a lot on right now is elite enemies, and it's these guys. So with these Fatui agents, you're going to need a lot of these things. You're going to need a ton for weapons, character ascension, all sorts of stuff. So I definitely recommend like clicking on this and then tracking them. So let's say, for example, I didn't kill any of these guys. I can go ahead and press navigate and it'll show me exactly where they are. So then I can go and teleport to that area, go kill them. And then it'll show you the next location and you just keep going from there. That's the easiest way to track it. I also like to couple that up with this website because, like, for example, these Nobushu, the samurai guys, see there's a big cluster of them on this island. There's a big cluster of them on over here. So you can find areas that have a lot of them, and it will make it easier for you to just go to that spot, kill all of them, and then move to the next spot that has a huge amount of them, and then just continue from there. Instead of fighting these single ones, one over here, one over there, you know what I mean? Like, you're better off fighting big clusters. And sometimes that navigation map will take you all over the entire map instead of showing you some of these locations like this. So that's the good thing about this website as well. And when it comes to all these mobs, it definitely is really important to kill these elite mobs, because the cool thing about them is that they also have a chance to drop artifacts. So you can get one of these and you can use some of these things either for yourself, or you can use them as fodder to level up an artifact that you actually want to level up. So it's definitely worth it to come out here and just kill all these guys just for that reason alone. So elite enemies is definitely important to mess around with if you have the time. I usually don't spend a lot of time doing this. I'll just hunt the one that I need. Like Fatui agents is what's been important to me lately. So I'll just hunt only those guys. But if you have the time to sit here and play the game all day and you want to hunt these guys down, go for it. The next thing I wanted to talk about is what missions on the battle pass is really important to focus on. I already maxed out my battle pass, but I wanted to show you some of the things. So these core daily ones are the easiest ones to do. You just log into the game, you get the first one. You do your commissions, which I already explained was important to do. If you do that, you get another one. Mining 10 items is actually really easy without having to actually do it. And the way you can do that is just coming over to Catherine and then speaking to her and going over to dispatch character on expedition. In here, you can actually pick the ones that have like mining materials. Like, for example, you see how I put Felicia on on one of these. I know I said her name wrong. I like calling her Felicia. I put Felicia to get these two rocks. So these rocks are really important for later on, which I'll explain in a second. But when you have them go out and find rocks like that, it counts towards the mining needed for that daily mission. So you don't have to actually go out there and go mine rocks, which is really nice. But I still recommend going out there every 2 days to go gather these guys, because these guys are really important. If you come over here to this guy, so this is the crafting, the blacksmith, speak to him at any town. They all do the same thing. And you like to craft something, you can come over here and you can get some of these bad boys, which give you weapon leveling material. These are really good for speed leveling weapons, especially when you're trying to get it to 90 as fast as possible. So if you can keep a record of every 2 days to come back and start farming some of those blue rocks, then it's definitely going to make your life a hell of a lot easier, so you can continue to make these every day. Just be careful you don't pick the wrong one, because there's 3 different types. There's the regular one that just requires the crystal chunk. And then you got these that require these purple ones, which you find in Inazuma. And then you have the ones that use resin. Don't use the ones that use resin, because resin is extremely important in this game. Best saved to use resin on, you know, bosses and all the other stuff. Then you also have the other rocks. So if you wanted to use some of these up, you can. I don't really care about the green ones because they don't really give too much XP, to be honest. If I'm leveling a weapon, I like to level it as high as I possibly can, and then I'll backtrack once it hits max. That way I'm not wasting a blue material and I start using up some of the weapons that I don't want, like a bunch of gray weapons or green weapons or whatever. So after the mining one, burning 150 resin, which is not something you're going to do every single day. This is pretty simple to do if you follow the method of logging in twice a day. But in case you don't do that, it's not a big deal, because the weekly missions are far more important. The most obvious ones to focus on is like the forge 20 items, which you'll be already doing if you're consistently getting the blue crystals and converting it, completing 3 bounties, and you can do 3 of the bounties there and complete 3 of the requests. So that's both of those right there very easily. Ley line deposits, you're not going to really be bothering with that too much. The original resin thing, don't bother with that. If it happens, it happens. Cook 20 dishes is super easy to do. You can just spam it with the shittiest food, like it could be revived food or whatever, and then just make 20 of them, and that's it. Easy. Traveling to a teapot is actually kind of difficult because it's only 1 day a week, which is probably Saturday, and you can go over there to somebody else's teapot and then buy 2 items from them, but it's up to you if you want to do that. Definitely the most important one is this one here. Complete the Trouse domains, which is the world bosses. And then also do the TGC weekly. The people that are just sitting on tables inside of the cafe. You fight 2 of them and boom, you got 675 points. The Trouse domain is definitely more important because that's 1350. And you can easily get that by going to Storm Terror in there and then doing it on the lowest level possible. So you can do it on level 1, on level 40, which is the lowest level. So even if you have level 90 characters and kill the level 40 version, you can kill them in like literally 30 seconds, like probably even less than that. And then you just rinse and repeat. You do it 3 times and then that's it. You got your weekly. Speaking of weekly bosses, it's really important that you do this guy every single week. So you can do 1 of each one every week. The most important things are these talent ascension material, which you're going to need a bunch of these to get the talents up past level 6 on your characters. The cool thing about this is that even if you didn't get the piece that you wanted, you can convert it using this item if you get lucky on getting this item. So like if you come over here to the crafting table, you go over to the middle tab here, and you can convert a lot of these materials, including these weekly boss things. Let's say, for example, you had some of these, but you actually wanted some of these things. You could go down here and click on the little recipe sheet, and you can change that to something else. So let's say, oh, I have 1 of these, so I want to go ahead and use that one instead. And then we'll convert it to this one here. So this is a good way to kind of like transfer stuff in case you end up getting bad RNG, but you start collecting some of these dream solvents. Of course, weekly bosses are super RNG, but it is what it is. At least there's a conversion system. While we're here at the crafting table, let me talk a little bit more about this. You're going to spend a lot of time sitting in front of this crafting table because you can do all sorts of stuff. You got your character ascension material. You can convert that from the lower version into the higher versions and then just keep cycling through that. So in case your RNG is real bad, at least you'll get a chance eventually to make the thing you need for your ascension. Then there's also the talents. So you can do the same thing with talent books. And you can also do the same thing with the materials you get off of mobs out in the world. So let's say if I had bad RNG, which I've been getting terrible RNG with the Fatui guy, I can go ahead and convert some of the blue ones into the purple ones, and then boom, there you go. You got everything you need. So that's basically a good way to kind of keep track and to also like speed up the process of things. Another thing you can do is also click on this middle tab, and you can convert different type of elements to others that you may want. So let's say, for example, if I wanted the fire one, then I could take some of these dendro ones and I can turn it into a fire one by doing the same process of clicking on the little recipe thing and then just changing it over. So like I can go, okay, I have 9 of these ice ones, so I can go ahead and use those, and then boom, turn it into dendro or turn it into fire. Like, it doesn't matter. So that's pretty good. You're gonna need a lot of these things, which there's 2 ways to get this. So you go to the shop, boom, and then here under Paimon's bargains, you can go under Stardust Exchange and you can buy it in there, which I don't know where I have them. Here they go. So 5 little thingamajiggies, and you get these through wishing, and then you can go ahead and buy some of these, and they give you 10 each, so it's pretty good. Another way of getting them is by going into your book and then going down to M Battle. And in here, when you start leveling some of this stuff, like in the first chapter, for example, it started giving me a bunch of them. So just for completing one of the trial things, it gave me a few. So, well, 30 right there. So that's not too bad. At least it's something for free. You get, see, another one right here, and then under chapter 3, nope, none in chapter 3. All right, so it's not really a whole lot, but it's something to at least get you started. So the main thing is probably going to be going onto the cash shop and buying it from there, from the Paimon's bargains. And while we're on the topic of the shop, I might as well talk about that real quick, because something that's really important to do every month or so, because you got to look at this refresh time. You can buy the intertwined fates and the quaint ones. So these are like the standard banner and the main banner. So you can go to Stardust Exchange and you can buy that every single time this refreshes, and buy 5 of them. And they're always on sale all the time. I don't know why they're always on sale, but whatever, I'll take it, I guess. And you can buy 5 of each. So why not take advantage of it? Especially if you've been wishing a lot and you got a bunch of these bad boys, then you could take advantage of it. Not to mention all the materials that you can also trade if you desperately needed it. Like a few days ago, I was broke, so I started buying the Mora one. So like, yeah, so there's stuff. So then you can be able to kind of transition that if you're just hoarding onto these things for no reason. Now you have a reason. Another really important thing is to not get your characters to 90 as fast as you can. That's not the goal here. I definitely recommend getting characters to at least 60. When you reach level 60, you get access to the second passive, which would be like this one, the Blazing Eye, whatever. So this works with every single character. So let's say, for example, Ayato, I have him at 60, which is 4 stars on here. So as long as you get him up to the 4 stars, then you should be good to get his final passive. Because the moment that you get to level 6, that's basically the soft cap of this game. And then anything beyond level 6 requires weekly bosses, which I already explained is super RNG and really difficult to get. So don't rely on that. Instead, just get them to at least their soft cap. From there, then you want to start working on your weapon. So weapon is super important. Get that to level 90 as fast as you can. That's really worth it, because you're going to be doing more damage and you're going to get buffed a lot. On top of that, artifacts, really important to get, which you don't have to get full gold or anything to make a good build. You could run around with some regular ass stuff and still do a good job. Like, for example, look at Klee right now. This Klee is one of my favorite characters and one of my best characters in the game. And look at her. She's running around with some blue items and some purple items. So she looks gimped, but she's still extremely strong. And the main thing is to make sure that you're getting sets that actually match for the character that you're actually playing. So let's say, for example, I tried to go with Elemental Mastery with her because she throws fire all the time. Here's some more Elemental Mastery. The defense and the health is shitty, but RNG is RNG. But you got to take what you can get. So that's basically what I did here. I took a set that just worked and whatever. I just rolled with it. This blue piece, I have attack on it. I have HP on it, which I don't want. But I have all the other things I wanted. Elemental Mastery, attack, and crit damage. So just try to build that way and don't overthink it. Don't look at these big streamers and think that, oh, you have to have full gold in order for the character to even work. Keep that out of your mind, because the moment that you start getting into that mindset, you're gonna really hate this game. Like, I already hate this game, and it's because of the resin system. So if you're gonna be trying to focus on trying to get full gold items, then you're gonna struggle in this game. So don't do it. Settle for the less, because that's the best we can do with the resin system we have, you know. And the last thing I recommend doing is don't focus on trying to do artifact dungeons. For example, I haven't done a single artifact dungeon in this entire time I've been playing. I've been playing this game on and off for 2 years. And the main reason why is because every single time I go out there, I'll go fight like a boss. Let's say I need to fight this guy because I'm trying to ascend the character. You have a chance to get gold items, and you have a chance to get these purple ones and stuff. You can take these gold items, let's say like the gladiator finale. Like I got a bunch of them every time I went to go fight that boss. I can come over here to the conversion table, and then I can go ahead and make the artifact that I want. So in this third one, let's say, for example, I want a set of this. I don't know what this set is. I didn't do any research on it. But if that's what I wanted, I can go ahead and I can take 3 items that I don't want, put it into there. You see, you can make up to 3 boxes in one shot, and then you can offer it, and it'll give you a piece of the one you want. The RNG is RNG, so you don't know what you're going to get, but at least you can work on getting the build you want without having to do the dungeons. So you're getting like a win-win situation here, where you're getting a chance at the artifacts you want while also leveling up your characters, which I think is far more important, to be working on your character stuff instead of working on just only artifacts. But anyway, that's all my tips. I think I went a little bit more crazier. I think I probably went beyond 10 tips. So it is what it is. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. Leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't, and I will see you guys on the next one. Later.